Take a breath. I know I need to. Hold it. Right now, your body is receiving oxygen that it will store and use. Now, what you're releasing is carbon dioxide. Imagine that carbon dioxide going to contribute to the tree right outside your door. That tree receives that CO2 and sunlight, making sugars and oxygen, which support us and many other organisms. Natural systems really aren't all that complex when you break it down. For about 3 billion years, Earth's systems have been functioning on a capture, store, use, waste cycle. Let's think of this as receiving, embodying, nourishing, and passing it on. A feedback loop that can renew a multitude of systems. It's this process that makes this living construct work. Our landscapes and lifestyles are unquestionably and inescapably intertwined. Everything we do has an impact, a currency, an exchange. But at what cost? We've been taking without reciprocation for too long. Perhaps we could be more conscious of everything, to why we want, to what we buy, to where we build, to how we consume. I'm a landscape architect and designer, and I'm a father. I envision a better world for my son and future generations, a world of harmony, alignment, and possibility. At our landscape design studio, we are always asking ourselves this question: can it be returned to the earth, in an effort to emphasize a closed loop model of design? Much of the time we encounter everyday materials that cannot be returned to the earth. So how do we, the whole of humanity, change our minds about waste before it ends up in a landfill, which much of what we create often does? As humans, we want, we buy, and we consume. What if we started focusing on what can be returned to the earth? During demolition, any sane, practical contractor will come in, rip this up, and haul it off. Not our team. Through creative saw cutting, the reorganization and recomposition of everything you see here, yes, even dead plant material, we can transform any space from lifeless and impacted to a place that invites, embraces, and supports an abundance of life. This shift in behavior has a profound ripple effect that emanates from our clients outward. Their lives are filled with immense pride and joy from trying something so bold, embodying that change. Making the unfamiliar familiar takes bravery, tenacity, and trust. And when we embody nature as who, how, and what we are, we embody the change that humanity needs right now. So, how do we embody our mission and not cheat a system that has been in place for eons? Consider, life begins with a single drop of rain, and yet our relationship to that drop is really messed up. Why is it we take time out of our lives to go on hikes, to go camping, be immersed in nature, communing, healing, connecting, and then we come home to landscapes that need to be kept on life support? Imagine with me, it's raining and you're a single drop of rain. Splash. You hit the pavement, cars are racing by, polluting the water with emissions, brake dust, and so much more. You are now water and poison. You're making your way with your fellow raindrops down a gutter, when suddenly you fall from the road into a hole, draining into a garden, a rain garden, where the soil has been nurtured and loved. It has been optimized. And as you move through the soil, the life, the microbes, the fungi, and the plant roots are all thanking you for being there. They're cleansing you of the poisons you've collected. You've been purified. Plant roots gulp you up. They receive you. They embody you. They are nourished by you so that they can capture and store carbon dioxide. That's important, right? They receive sugars. They create sugars and oxygen to pass on, that in turn support biodiversity, which is community above and below ground. Until finally, on a warm, sunny day, they pass you on back to the atmosphere. Our team's big mission is to inspire a global paradigm shift by influencing humanity's reintegration with nature, starting with that single drop of rain, acknowledging where it came from, what it's been through, and how we can honor it. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. Thank you, Bucky. The City of Pasadena's Water and Power Division engaged us to demonstrate waste transformation to reimagine water conservation. What they weren't expecting was a game changer. I mentioned optimization earlier. This truly represents the "and" in our work, and it embodies transforming our relationship to waste, which is also really messed up. For this collaboration, we're embracing simple techniques to transform green waste and other organic discards that would normally be sent to a landfill, to teach communities ways to thoughtfully create beautiful, resilient, biodiverse gardens. Our response was, of course, yes, and may we demonstrate a whole systems approach to our design. Listen, this practice of building and optimizing landscapes through waste transformation is accessible, effective, and really fun to do with your community. Welcome to the carbon culture. When we combine it with honoring that drop of rain and a focus on local ecology, we are co-creating abundance for all beings. What if this 1 acre median were reimagined as a functioning living system rather than an island cut off? We could pull in that poisonous raindrop into this space and move it through the soils and the rain gardens that have been enriched by the materials that would either end up in a landfill or back in the atmosphere. When this island becomes a sponge that can support the local biodiversity of plants, wildlife, and microbes, and so much more, it becomes a functioning, resilient part of the whole. All while building this with community, because people are the catalyst and they have a stake in this work and they can pass it on. Reimagining our relationship to the land and co-creating with the communities above and below ground benefits us all. This can be a naturally occurring practice if we choose to support it. We are building a new model of landscape design that rejects the status quo. And our clients and collaborators invest in supporting these cycles for themselves, their communities, and the earth systems that we're all a part of. They also happen to receive beautiful gardens that remind them of their impact on a daily basis. It's so simple, from leaving your leaves to a log in the landscape, to reimagining sponge-like resilient cities functioning as a living organism. Some of you may be thinking, I'm not planning a new garden. So how do we optimize what we do have? Stepping into possibility could start simply by washing your dishes in a bowl and using that water to water your plants. Reimagine what you could be doing and start somehow. Now, plants, wildlife, and watersheds do not adhere to geopolitical or property line boundaries. We are stuck in place in a dualistic paradigm. It has been either us or nature, controlling and disrupting, or standing by and observing, us or them. We have been taking from and controlling a resource that is abundant and generous for so long. How do we interrupt that destructive cycle? It's so simple: mindfulness and care. What would it take for us to understand how important this is? And do we care enough to change our behaviors? He's reason enough for me. So what if we blurred that line of separation, made it an and, merged those sides into I am, reciprocating, co-creating in relationship with these naturally occurring systems? Human behavior is causing excessive emissions, the extraction and the exhaustion of our finite resources. And our behaviors are driven by our beliefs and values. At any moment, we can choose to upgrade those inherited, antiquated, destructive beliefs and values, switch them out for better ones. Trying for 0 to 100% is part of that same dualistic mindset. Anywhere in between is great, but it takes the same amount of effort to dream of 5% as it does 95%. As humans, we're always seeking quality of life, but I can't help but ask, quality of life for who? There will be quality of life when we care for life. Take a deep breath in. Receive that oxygen, that gift, hold it, embody it, let it nourish you. And when you're ready, let go. And right there, that was it. That moment you let go and returned it to the earth. As you breathe without even trying, that is when you pass it on. You embody the catalyst to a multiplicity of possibilities. We manifest change when we pass it on. Be willing to support the systems that so beautifully support us. Let's start by honoring that breath, that single drop of rain, and our future generations. Thank you.